Hello y'all and welcome back to my channel. So, like I said, the anti-hauls are be coming out at a quicker pace because as the makeup is coming out at a quicker pace, we must adjust accordingly. And y'all, this makeup is coming out left and right. Y'all would have seen on Snapchat where I was like, I love scrolling through Trend Mood and not finding a single thing that I'm interested in. That is a satisfactory feeling. But today, while we're, figuring things that I'm not interested in, I figured I might as well pull these things together and create some content out of it and give y'all guys a good, lovely makeup roasting time of it. Okay, we're gonna start out real good, and this is kind of like, I'm addressing this merely because a couple of y'all were like, hey, look at this. It looked pretty. You gonna review it? Short answer is no. But the new $129 palette from Natasha Denona. Upon initial look at this, you're like, oh wow, that's pretty. And then as my eyes adjust and I look at it just a wee bit closer, I noticed that the matte to shimmer ratio is basically non-existent. It's like $129 shimmer palette with like 4 or 5 mattes, and there are a crap ton of shades in this thing. And to only have like 4 or 5 mattes, that sets my makeup whatevernesses tingling. I mean, it's super exorbitantly expensive. I have shimmers in palettes and all shimmer palettes and just shimmers that I don't use. I use shimmers a lot less frequently than I used to. And so spending that much money on a big ginormous palette of overpriced shimmers is gonna be a solid no from me. I just wish there was more depth and dimension to this, and I know there are probably different fancy finishes, but aren't there 3 blacks in this palette? Or at least 3 shades that look like 3 blacks. Maybe I don't have enough color coding cones in my eyes to be able to appreciate the tone difference within them. But to my pedestrian peasant eyeballs, it looks like 3 blacks. Okay, then let's talk about something that for 2 reasons, 3 reasons it's on here. But the new Bobbi Brown holiday whateverness, specifically the eyeshadow palette. Now, I don't shop from Bobbi Brown as much as I would like to buy some of her highlighters, but Bobbi Brown is sadly not cruelty free. But I think Teresa is Dead said it best when she was talking about this, and I think it'll be her most recent Makeup Madness video, where she was like, if this palette didn't have all those cute little whatever things that made the pans look like geometric shapes, she'd be like, it'd just be another palette, whatever. But those little geometric shapes set something off within your brain, and then you gotta have it. So I admit, I saw that and I was like, oh, look at those shimmery, shiny 3D whateverness. Because I think that one brand Elsie Cosmetics does a lot of that with where they've got really funky raised whateverness, which honestly just raises the price of a product because you have to pay extra to be able to have a specific press form than just flat. But take all that aside, can we take a moment to look at these swatches right here? I'll give y'all a moment. Observe them in their gloriousness. I mean, I understand that the majority of Bobbi Brown's makeup is studio makeup, professional makeup, overpriced makeup for middle-aged white women. But looking at the shades in the palette and then looking at what you get, you're like, you'd think for the price you pay, you'd pay for a little more pigmentation. I mean, these swatches are if I was working in makeup and they sent me these swatches, I'd be like, send this back to the lab. It hasn't finished cooking yet. We gotta reformulate something real quick because they're just the epitome of the faintest, subtlest possible potential wash of color. And if this is not like the whitest person palette ever, I mean, looking at the shades in the pan, it's not so bad. But then you see how they swatch out on skin. You're like, okay, you are going to need to be stark white for these shades to do any sort of definition. Like, I was looking at it and I was kind of like, oh, it's kind of cute, it's kind of whatever. And then those swatches, and I'm like, did we really release those? I'd have thought it was one of those swatch release accidents, but apparently it's not. This is what we're selling to people. And speaking of selling to people, I have to put this down just because I have to anti-haul it, because there's a part of me that would be all like, oh yeah, sure, maybe I'd get it, because the new KKW Beauty collab. Gal, she is collabing with, I love. Oh my goodness, there is so much love, kind of a bit of a girl crush going on. You know, there are a lot of feelings and whateverness going into my whatever's toward that release. And typically back in the day, Soraya, I would have just been like leaping off into emotional purchasing land. But I mean, if you look at that palette, like, is anyone getting like Manny MUA Lunar Beauty Greek Goddess palette vibes? Now, I understand if a palette is done by another company, that does not mean it isn't going to be done by another one. But for a palette in collaboration with such a dynamic and unique person, it's really boring. Does anyone think that a lot of the way that the Kylie eyeshadows and the KKW Beauty eyeshadows are like put in palettes, the way they're like done, any of y'all think that looks like a wee bit cheap, or is it just me being salty? It's just gonna have to be a no all around. Speaking of a no all around, Too Faced. It's a teaser thing. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be for holiday. Wouldn't surprise me. But at the same time, Too Faced likes teasing their products like 8 months in advance. But the Too Faced and Madonna collaboration collection beauty kit set. I love Madonna just as much as the next person. I love a lot of her music. She is an innovator within that industry, as well as the fashion and everything like that. There's a lot to love. But y'all, this is not like the Gwen Stefani collab where it's like, oh look, here's an eyeshadow palette. Oh look, here's a blush palette. No! They are beauty sets, which looks like you're gonna get little 5-pan eyeshadow palette, a little mini lipstick, and probably a friggin' mini Better Than Sex mascara. I feel that Madonna is owed more than little look kits where you know quality is going to be a lot lower than their typical normal permanent produced stuff. It's gonna be a mass produced, gotta get a bunch of kits out, get it out there. It's gonna be this little, I mean, you just know it's not gonna be as good as their normal quality, and their normal quality is already pretty hit and miss. I mean, I was slightly just a little bit offended because you're like, Madonna, yeah, oh my goodness, whole ding dang palette, whole ding dang collection. But no, little mini kits. That just seems a little disrespectful, I feel. Like, would you collaborate with Cher and be like, all right, Cher, we're going to collaborate with you and we're going to give you mini kits? Cher would be all like, no, I want a whole palette and I want it to light up and I want it to be fabulous. I would typically expect no less, but it's Too Faced and they're very good at packaging a theme and packaging a collab, putting subpar products into it and shilling it to us. I don't quite understand why I'm even surprised at this point. Okay, then a brand that I typically absolutely love and buy a crap ton of their products. You probably saw this coming. Colourpop. They did another collab. I mean, I don't even think it's another collab. I think at this point it's just one. Colourpop's existence is simply to do one big giant collab with Kathleenlights. I don't know if she helped start the company, if she has stock in the company, but I swear, back to back to back to back collaborations with, I just anti-hauled the little single Zodiac whatevers. And I'd even be like a little less whatevered if they just let the Zodiac die. Let it go away and do something little funky, fun, and fresh, so it's not like, oh, well, it's Kathleenlights and it's the same collab. This palette is huge. This palette is apparently $40. Actually, I think it's $39. But tax and everything and shipping or whatever with the round up. And I understand you get a crap ton of shades. You do get a crap ton of shades. But they aren't a crap ton of shades that really do anything. They don't move me, so to speak. They kind of do to me the same thing that every other bit of the Zodiac collab has been. You look at it and you're like, okay, great, Kathleenlights, good for you, girl, get that coin. But you look at it and you're like, this is absolutely nothing that I want and absolutely nothing that I need in my collection. And so this isn't really like a passionate, oh, you offend me, or why do you exist? This is just kind of like a, it exists and I have no interest in having it exist within my stratosphere of a life. Okay, I gotta go quick lickety-split to the next ones. Becca, we're getting another Champagne Pop face palette. Didn't we do this like once, twice, potentially 3 times, and now we're doing it this time, but with the changed marketing aspect that it's for your face and your eyes. Which honestly, so long as it's safe, every product can be for your face and your eyes. But Champagne Pop still apparently kind of sells. Becca hasn't really been bringing anything innovative to the game, so we've got to pull up a quick, easy sell. Jaclyn Hill is probably tossing and turning and her ears are burning because she ain't gonna be making any coin off of this. And I just look at it and I'm like, well, it looks like pretty much every other Becca face palette I've bought during the holidays. Like, Becca's just like, all right, here's a highlighter we all know. We'll have a bronzer, because that's a crease shade, a bright rosy whatever blush, and then we'll have like a highlighter that's kind of reminiscent to a highlighter that we already have, but isn't actually, so we can have something new in the palette so people have a reason to buy it. Just no, it's not happening. Then Wet n Wild. I already would have discussed kind of the whole controversy going on with Wet n Wild and James Charles and the whole dupe stealing whatever situation. But that was to do with this palette here. And I mean, I bought the Morphe one. I was burned with that. I've never been a fan of Wet n Wild eyeshadows, so I don't think I want to buy a palette of like 39 shades that I'm not sure how I'm gonna feel about it. Like I said, I've bought it once, so like what's the point of buying it again? At this point, I have all those colors somewhere in my collection in formulas that I know that I love. Would a review of that palette get me views? Yes. Yes, it probably would. But your girl ain't got no time for that. I'm just gonna say no. Another thing I'm gonna say no to is those, The Balm, who is a brand that keeps producing so many wonderful, near and dear to my heart products. If the sarcasm was not eminent, I'm letting you know now. And I have these 2 palettes that are 100% cream eyeshadows. I understand it's a personal preference, but I'm not going within like 100 feet of those. I feel like a cream eyeshadow is something you buy like 1 or 2 of in like little compacts, not something where you have it in a whole palette where it's like, we are going to last 3 months and then we're gonna dry out and be useless and be the epitome of wasted money. I'm not here for it. I'm not for much from The Balm. I'm also not here for cream eyeshadows, and it doesn't look cute. To all of y'all that love cream eyeshadows, that is great. You keep doing you. But for me, this is like one of the biggest, hell no. Then sort of in the same vein as just like the KKW Beauty, not in the, reason. In kind of like the boring color story, Colourpop has another collab or another collection with another person who I don't know who is. I mean, Colourpop I feel, the Colourpop and Too Faced are the biggest offender for just shooting stuff out. It's like, maybe if we release 1,000 things in a month, something will stick. And if there's something Colourpop loves, is they love a whole collection and they love a collab. That is what they live for. And I think these colors are just absolutely, I mean, I look at the whole thing and I'm like, big yawn. It is just absolutely not anything at all that I am interested in. I'm honestly just kind of sick and tired of going through Trend Mood and seeing like every other post, oh look, Colourpop does it again! And I'm like, it's not doing it again if you're just continuously doing it. There needs to be a separation between the releases for it to be an again. Currently, it's just a constant. I'm going to say goodbye to you all. There will always be time and room for an anti-haul, because the market is so hideously oversaturated that even I, the epitome of someone who loves spending their money on useless crap, is in pain. Like, you want to breathe. You need to like break up from the surface and like take a breath, because it's a war zone out here in the beauty community in the holiday time period. But obviously, let me know what you think about the products I discussed below. If you have them, you love them, you're gonna pick them up. And let me know something down below that you are going to be anti-hauling, because I love hearing what y'all ain't gonna get. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you, and as always, keep it real. Mwah!